Welcome to the House of Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Welcome to Raider Nation News today. Hope everybody's having a great Monday. I know right now I am. Those coming on in, y'all know the routine. Those new in here, let me teach you real quick. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions. Yes, the free agency frenzy period has started. Nothing is made official until Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern time, that is, but there have been a lot of moves, a lot of potential signings that are coming down the pipe, and they're coming down really, really quickly. Look, we got our defensive tackle, our free agent defensive tackle that we've had a list. We checked it twice. We ended up with Christian Wilkins, a defensive tackle, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, on a 4-year, $110 million deal with, I believe, 84.725 guaranteed. Dude's a dog. He had a great season last year, probably one of his best last season. 28 years old. He had 61 quarterback pressures. I believe, if I remember correctly, he had 9 sacks last year, 23 QB hits. Look, Dolphins had a very banged-up defense last year for those that watched any of their games. He had 10 tackles, 65 tackles, 10 for losses, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. He definitely was a guy that stood out on that Miami Dolphins defense last year, a guy that we had been asking for throughout the last couple of months as we approached the tail end of the offseason. It's a great move here. Couldn't be happier, and this is a great way for Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce to start off this new regime the right way. Let me go through the chat real quickly. Salute to Albert Garcia, Yvette Niles, Oakland Raider, Trey B., Dangerfield, Big Mo, Trey B., Lamented, Lumpy, Latina Griffin, what's good? 10 Commandments, Antoine Wade, Fitzy, Isaiah, DC, 07 Hog. I'm really trying to catch up with you guys real quickly, as quickly as I can anyways. John B., Chad Schrader, Antoine, Gary, I Am Punchy, Tim, Space Beast, Aladdin, Johnny Kicknuts, what's good, my guy? Space Beast, John Cena, Raider Deb. Here we go, Raider Nation. D-line is going to make people shaking in the damn cleats. There you go. There you go. Talk that shit. Ryan, what's good, my guy? Razor, hey, yo. DL, what's good? Val, Sean, salute to everybody in here. A lot of other moves have been made, and you guys can see on the ticker running on the bottom of the screen pretty much the most up-to-date transactions that have happened so far. Unfortunately, bad news, Josh Jacobs is no longer a Raider, but once a Raider, always a Raider. He has decided to sign with the Green Bay Packers. There's no details as it pertains to the money yet, but it is stated per ESPN and NFL Network that he is set to sign with the Green Bay Packers. And there's news right now. The Packers are expected to sign safety Xavier McKinney to a 4-year, $68 million contract. So I have you guys in the chat dead in front of me right now. I have NFL Network above me. So anything that breaks, anything that pops up right now, I'll be able to let you guys know quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm here for it. I figure maybe we do an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see how long we can do this for. I know NFL Network is supposed to be doing this as it pertains to the free agency frenzy for like the next, I think they have another 4 hours they're doing this. They started at 12 o'clock when the official period started for agents and teams to contact these players. Salute to everybody in the chat. Trying to see if I'm missing anybody. I don't think I am. Appreciate y'all. Kirk Cousins signed with the Falcons on a 4-year, $188 million contract with $100 million guaranteed. We talked about Kirk Cousins. He went down with the Achilles injury towards the tail end of this past season. He was definitely a guy that we had said could potentially go back to Minnesota, go to Atlanta. The possibilities were endless, but yeah, as it stands right now, he is set to sign a 4-year, $180 million contract with $100 million guaranteed with the Atlanta Falcons. That still leaves some teams in need of a quarterback. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. Recently released quarterback of the Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson, signed on the league vet minimum with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry, is set to sign. I got to be specific here. Nothing is official until Wednesday. Ink can't be put to pen. I'm sorry. Ink can't be put to paper until Wednesday, 4 o'clock Eastern time. But these are a lot of moves that have been happening so far. Bilal Nichols is signing with, I'm trying to remember. I want to say it was Arizona. I could be wrong. but I saw something about Bilal Nichols not too long ago. There was news that broke earlier this morning that recently franchise tagged receiver of the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins, is requesting a trade. We do know that he is due to make about $21.8 million this coming season. If he's traded, he's going to have to sign a contract and extension immediately with whatever that next team is that decides to trade for him. We just talked about McKinney. They're showing that on the screen right now. Saquon Barkley signed a deal. He is staying in the NFC East. He signs a 3-year, $37.75 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. With the incentives in that contract, he could be making just under $50 million, depending on how long he is there on that contract. There's another running back that went off the market. He was the very first one today. Running back of the Chicago Bears. Oh my God. DeAndre Swift. I'm hoping I'm saying it right because I know I'm just all over the place today. He is signing with who did Swift go to? Swift went to the Bears from the Eagles on a 3-year, $24.5 million deal. He was the first running back off the board. Now, as it stands right now, there is only a handful of running backs left. You guys just heard me say it before. Jacobs is gone. He's going to Green Bay. Saquon is with the Eagles. DeAndre Swift is now with the Bears. Let me see if I can find that free agency tracker. I do know that Tony Pollard's available. Austin Eckler's available. I really don't know how I feel about that one. And who's that other guy? Hold on. Derrick Henry. Sorry, guys. As it pertains to Wilkins, Christian Wilkins, Wilkins was a guy that last week there were reports out there. This wasn't something that was known to the public, but the Raiders had Christian Wilkins as a top free agent priority. And look, we got him. 4-year deal again, $110 million, $84.725 guaranteed. The Giants, here's more news. The Giants just agreed to terms, or will be set to agree to terms with running back Devin Singletary. He is another one of the remaining running backs left on the board as it stands right now. So still a couple of running backs out there. It wasn't that many in this free agency draft class, and we know the ones that were available were top tier at their position. We're not going to get franchise tagged at the $14.1 million that it was. Let's see where we're at. I'm trying to get to it now. All right, here we go. So Derrick Henry, like I said, Tony Pollard actually went to Tennessee, 3-year, $24 million deal with Tennessee. Aaron Jones was actually a casualty. He got released as a result of the future signing of Josh Jacobs. Again, DeAndre Swift is a Chicago Bear. Austin Eckler still available. J.K. Dobbins is still available. And like we just stated, Devin Singletary is agreeing to terms with the New York Football Giants. Let me get back to you guys in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, I just put that up. Sorry, guys. Try to get Hilaire? No, I'm good. Probably signing Eckler too. Eagletarian was good. Powell went to Titans. Yeah, I got it. I'm again, like, I don't have you guys dead center at times. So, and I've been waiting for this guy to pull up. So give me 1 minute. We do have a guest. See if he's ready to go. Are you good? All right, so we do have a guest. We had him on last week, and you guys loved the show that we put on. So without any further ado, let me take myself off the screen and bring him in and actually turn his mic on. Let's get this going. Joe Arrigo is in the building. There we go.
What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a happy, I don't want to say tampering Monday. It's get deals done Monday.
So we kind of just went through a lot of these signings that have already happened. We talked about Josh Jacobs. Actually, I'm looking at him on screen right now. They're talking about him on NFL Network, agreeing to terms with the Green Bay Packers, unfortunately.
Sorry. And they also just signed Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, we just talked about that. It was what, a 4-year, $68 million deal? Something like that?
Honestly, I don't know. I literally was in the middle of something. So
you got the news like I got
just as I was waiting in the lobby. So I'm like I'm getting to get caught up on everything right now. So yeah.
Have you heard anything in terms of the numbers pertaining to Josh Jacobs yet? Because I have yet to see anything.
No, and what that normally means is it's not as high as what people think because
Okay.
the agent hasn't leaked it out yet. So I was actually just texting about that with my buddy Ben Albright. We were kind of going back and forth about like what do we think the numbers are. Look, we said last week, if you remember, that there was I think a cap between 7 and 9 million per. I think we said, and I think we were both on the same page of what the money might be. Now with Aaron Jones being cut from there, the number may go up a little bit because they kind of got Green Bay by the balls
Right.
in that regard. Um, but it's a surprise because I tweeted it out earlier. Someone from the Raiders hit me this morning and was like, "We feel good about resigning JJ," and they felt good about it. They've had multiple contracts in his hands of proposals for the last week or so. They kind of went back and forth. They felt that they could get it done. I think Green Bay came in this morning or late last night because I got a text from somebody in their organization saying they have a surprise for everybody. And I have receipts with all this, by the way. So as you know, Hammer, you've seen some of the receipts with
Yep.
with the Christian Wilkinson deal last Tuesday. So um, it it was surprising in that regard. I do think the Raiders, and I kind of teased this, and a name that I wouldn't be surprised. I think Aaron Jones may change it up a little bit, but for the Raiders, man, look, Derrick Henry, you get him on a 2-year deal. He goes. They want to run the ball. They have an offensive minded coach that wants to run the ball. He fits what they want to do. That gives Zeus another year or two to kind of get acclimated and maybe go get somebody in the middle rounds a little bit later if they have those picks available, and go out and make make some hay with Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, uh, talking Michael Mayer, and kind of go to war with that. I don't think that's a bad grouping at all. Plus, you can control in games in like Kansas City in December and Denver late in the year. Those are games you control on the ground,
Yeah.
and there's a big guy that can do that.
Salute to Okie Raider. I'm sorry I missed this. I had to go back to the chat, but thank you for becoming a member to the channel. Welcome to the family. If you guys want to support me, keep the lights on here at Raider Nation News Today. The link is pinned to the top for the memberships. You guys know we have the monthly giveaways, the custom emotes, the emojis, all that fun stuff. So the best way to support the channel, make sure to click that link up top. Again, doesn't matter what tier you are, you're automatically entered at the end of every month to win some Raider Nation News Today merch or some gift cards or maybe even a bottle of Woodson whiskey. So make sure to hit that link. What are your thoughts in regards to the market for Derrick Henry? What do you think his value is going to be? Like we just saw Saquon, and again, we've talked about this as it pertains to the depreciated value of the running back position, but Saquon's getting about $15 million a year.
Yeah, but I think Saquon's different because of his skill set. I think it's he brings a different value to it. I think what Henry, I think he's a little bit more than what Josh Jacobs was, just because of his history and he's just a freak. I mean, you don't see a guy that big, that fast, and that powerful play running back. Usually lines up as the end, as you know.
Right.
So, or a linebacker. So for me, I think, I would say between 8 and 10. 10 being on the high end. If you want to, and this is the thing about the deals, all these deals, they're legitimately, if it's a 3-year deal, you're looking at a 1-year deal. If it's a 5-year deal, you're looking at a 3-year deal. Take 2 years off of it already, because those are deals that can be voided, or you can add void
It's
years,
the
or
way
you
that
can
they're
restructure.
putting. It's the way that they're putting the language in these contracts, and it's been like the ongoing trend for the last couple of years. We've seen it with the likes of Derek Carr. Like they were able to get out of it. The Raiders were able to get out of his contract after 1 year, and we saw what happened. You look at Daniel Jones. The Giants can get out of that contract next season. So I totally get that. Now I see a lot of people in the chat right now that are talking about it as it pertains to Justin Fields. Now, there's another first round quarterback in Mac Jones and the New England Patriots who just got traded or will be traded. Again, nothing is official until Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Mac Jones was traded for a 6th-round pick to be the backup in Jacksonville. As it pertains to Fields right now, this was a lot of talk about him as we went into the offseason, what his value was going to be. It could have been a 2nd-round pick, a 3rd-round pick. But again, this is another quarterback that was a first round pick. So if a trade were to happen right now for Justin Fields, what do you think the compensation would be?
I think that is something I don't know because I told you this yesterday when we spoke briefly, and I said it last week on the show. Justin Fields to me is trash. I'm not a Justin Fields fan, but I'll say this caveat to it: if you can get Justin Fields for anything less than a premium pick, so if you're looking at let's say fourth round and beyond to sixth, you go ahead and do that because now that's a deal that's working out in your favor more times than not because you still have to eat that contract and then make a decision whether or not you want to option into that fifth year, take on that fifth year. So that does buy you some time, 2 years of working with it. But I looked at his numbers and I wish I had the other players numbers next to it, who I can remember who it was, but it was number for number, and they legitimately were the same. And one guy is a backup somewhere. He's a journeyman quarterback. But and I think that's where fantasy football kind of skews the view of quarterbacks because they do get great fantasy numbers. That doesn't mean they're great on the field. He
Right.
can get you a ton of fantasy points. So in the case of Fields, I do think mid round you can get him for a fourth or a fifth. You pull the trigger on that. But that leads to and I told you this and I've told this to you. I said to a couple of people, for me, if the Raiders and I was a sport track, is that what it's called?
Spot
Sport
track.
track. Okay, I was on that. I told you yesterday. I was on that yesterday, playing with it,
Right.
and restructuring contracts and cutting Jimmy G and Renfro, and I got to $96 million under the cap. If you're the Raiders and you can get to $96 million underneath the cap, why not invest heavily on veterans that can help you right now, and they take that draft capital for this year and some next year, and use Houston's draft pick, Houston moving up to 3, but it's going to cost more. Make that deal with Chicago and go get the guy you want. If it's Jaden or if it's Caleb, go do it and have your quarterback locked in for the next 5 years. Why not be aggressive and do that? I don't understand it, especially if you're spending the money you spend on Wilkins, which I totally agree with. If you can go out and get a linebacker, you can go out and get a Fuller to play corner for you. If you can, and look at the guard market. People
Yeah.
would have really they were up in arms over Andre James' contract yesterday. Look at what the guards are getting. Look at what Duke got from Miami to go to Carolina, 20 million a year,
Yeah,
and you're
for those that are unaware, the one offensive guard that I had on my radar for months on end, Robert Hunt, is going to Carolina, guys, which sucks, but it is what it is. Shout out to Oakland Raider in the chat, and it's funny because you just mentioned Kendall Fuller. I hear a lot of fans reaching for a Kendall Fuller sign. How do you feel? So I talked about Kendall Fuller a couple of weeks ago. I talked about him last week as well. This guy is proven. I know he was bad. He came off an injury last year, and a lot of people said that they felt that he lost a step. There's another guy that's a leader. He's a captain of that defense for a deal like around $14 million a year compared to what some of these top ranked corners are going to be asking for. I would sign me up for a 14, 15 million on average for Kendall Fuller. I'm here for it.
you know what? I'll take it one step further. I want you to take that train of thought and use it to draft picks. So let's say you have a player that last year, let's say a player from Texas that the year before lit it up. I mean, just had one of those years that if he would have came out or if he was eligible to come out, he would have been a first round pick. And
Right.
then he regressed a little bit the following year. If it's due to injury, coaching change, losing players to the transfer portal, you're just not the same guy, or teams are focusing on you. You're really not losing a lot. I mean, in the sense where why not make take that gamble and put it in. And you see, and there's teams that do it. I know Jordan Love was that type of guy. There's a bunch of guys. If you look at, there's a 1 year dip. Why not do that with free agency? Fuller is a player that can flat out play. Is coming off an injury. Okay, well, it takes about a year to heal if it's a serious injury. It takes about a year for you to get fully right.
Right.
Why not go after him? I'm all for Fuller. Another guy, look, and I'm a big. I've been stopping the table for this dude with the Raiders, even when he was coming out. But Willie Gay Jr. I think you put him in Diablo. You have athleticism. that's unparalleled in the division on your defensive side of the ball. You got off ball linebackers that can run. You couple that with Tyree, and you couple that with Jack and now with Wilkinson and Crosby, you have something. Hell, go sign Leonard Williams at this point. Like, go add what you need to add
We
to
have
make
to
this
know.
defense.
We also need to know that money has been adjusted. We have to know that Garoppolo and Renfro are off the books and have that cap space, and then we can have as much fun as we want. And guys, don't take that the wrong way. Like I don't really mean go spend $90+ million and fucking have no cap space available, but get these guys that are gonna fit the needs that we need currently. Get us a right guard. If we have to go and if there's a possibility or an opportunity to get another interior defensive tackle, but I've said this before, I don't want to have to pay excess of 20+ million to two defensive tackles. You're out of your mind to do something like that. But as it stands right now, from where we're looking, we got Christian Wilkins. It seems that realistically, with that 13th pick, if we stay at 13, I don't think Byron Murphy is going to be on the board for us anymore. I think we're going to have to find a way. Either we're going to move up in this draft to get one of these quarterbacks, because it's evident right now that New England is definitely going to get a quarterback. They just traded away Mac Jones. I don't think Bailey Zappi is the answer for them or the face of the franchise for them moving forward. They're still projecting for some strange, like, I don't want to say it's a strange reason. They're going to sign Kirk Cousins, but the Falcons, it's still projected for them to draft a quarterback. We know
Not
the
when he's guaranteed
Broncos,
$100 million. Like, that's
like
ridiculous.
we know the Broncos are going to be looking for a quarterback. If we have to move up even 6 and get that spot away from the New York Football Giants and try to get our quarterback, then let's try to do that. But like I said, if we sit at 13, a lot of those quarterbacks that we have on the board are going to be gone.
Now, what I wouldn't be opposed to if they stay at 13, right? Uh, you get the best corner on the market, and then you trade back into round one, and if Michael Penix is there, and you go get Penix at that point, at that junction. I'm a firm believer that you're going to see 4 in the top 10, at least 4 quarterbacks in the top 10, with Caleb, Jaden, May, and McCarthy going in, maybe even in the top 6. So if you go just again read the tea leaves and listen to what's not being said, everything Telesco said about quarterbacks points to JJ McCarthy. Everything Raiders fans hopes and dreams and 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 wants points to Jaden Daniels because of his relationship with Antonio Pierce. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the draft. So now you get this, take off our blinders, and let's get out of our dreams real quick, because we all have them for our teams.
But
JJ McCarthy is very logical. Michael Penix from 17 on, you can't argue with that pick. I think that's logical. The question is, who's going to block for them? Because if you draft Michael Penix, you better make sure you have a dude at their right tackle spot protecting his blind side, because Colton Miller's going to
that's
wet.
the one thing I've always said as it pertains to Penix. Like, you're gonna need a solidified right tackle to protect his blind side, knowing that he's a lefty, and that's one of my biggest concerns as it pertains to Penix. And if they end up going the route of Penix, then what do they like? Do you try to get another pick inside the first round? Do you trade back? Like, this is really so many different possibilities right now with what has transpired already. And again, nothing is official until Wednesday. Some of these guys can back out of deals. We've seen it happen in the past. But the way things are going right now, again, Baker Mayfield, he bet on himself last year, $4 million 1-year deal with the Bucks, 3-year, what was it, $100 million contract with them. You got Russell Wilson now in Pittsburgh. You got Kirk Cousins, who's set to go to Atlanta. Justin Fields is still available. Obviously, he'll be available via trade. Our line, we signed Andre James to a 3-year deal. So from center to left, we're pretty much set. You got Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James.
With
Right? Go
Vinny
ahead.
Bonsignore brought something good up,
Go
and
ahead.
I didn't even think about it. Which Andre James has lasted through three different head coaches. Obviously, they see something in him. I think there's a lot of potential that he's getting better. I think against the run, he's good. He's better than average. He's better than adequate. But that's the direction this offense is going.
Yeah.
So it kind of plays to his strengths. And at that price, and it's essentially he's getting paid a lot this upcoming season. I think it's what $10 million or whatever it is. I believe. I think it's 10.5 million in guarantees. Whatever it is, this season he's getting paid more than the next two. So it's easy to get rid of that. That's what I'm saying. The contract shouldn't matter. That from the middle to the left, the Raiders are solidified. It's that right guard and that right tackle spot. Now, there's a name I would put out there for Raider Nation to keep an eye on. That's Yosh Neiman. He's Green Bay. He's a former Packer swing tackle. He started at left tackle and right tackle for the Packers. He's familiar with Luke Getsy in the offense. That's a guy that has starter experience that last year got the highest tender, so he couldn't leave in case their left tackle Bakhtiari went out with an injury.
Right.
Well, for whatever reason, they found something else in another player, Walker, and he kind of fell out of favor. Well, he's a free agent. He's somebody at an affordable price at that you could get that could play right tackle, plug and play right away. And I think he'd come in and be a day one starter for him. So there's a name like that. Um, you know, so I want to pull the curtain back if I can, Hammer,
Go ahead.
with this. So last Tuesday night after we did the show, or it was the day after we did the show, I sent you and another person who produces my show. Um, I sent you guys a text, and can you tell them what the text said? Because and we can show receipts. I don't care.
Was that the one pertaining to our newly signed defensive tackle?
Yep.
Give me one sec.
I'm pointing this out for a specific reason because I love trolls on social media, but for people to assume that I'm making a bunch of shit up.
So yeah, this was late. This was late Tuesday night. Been told off the record, Wilkins is a top free agent priority for the Raiders.
I mean, so when I and I'm catching some shit because of the Josh Jacobs tweet, which I said, quite frankly, the Raiders feel they're in a good place. The Raiders feel they're going to bring him back. That's how they felt. I wasn't saying he's coming back.
Right.
So like, let's read. And I say that because there's a lot of people that want to break news. I'm not trying to break news. I'd rather not break news. I wasn't first with Wilkins' deal. I wasn't first with Jacobs going to the Packers, at least on social media. I think I texted you that. But be careful because there's a lot of fraudulent people out there. So I just say that because I think the next couple of days it's going to get crazy. I think going forward today and then tomorrow, I think tomorrow is going to be a crazy day. You're going to see a ton of signings and trades tomorrow, even later tonight, that is going to set everything in motion for the draft as far as where people are going to.
And this is
direction.
this is the next thing, like as it pertains to this free agency period. When these mock drafts come out in the coming days, things are going to be a hell of a lot more different than what you guys have been used to seeing over the past couple of weeks. Gus Edwards plans to sign with the Chargers now. This is from Tom Pelissero. Again, I have NFL Network up in front of me with everything that's going on or any news that breaks right now, and this is another one that just came out. Where are we at? Shout out to Xavier Foster in the chat. Do you see us getting Peyton Wilson this draft? I'm not going for a linebacker in the first round, and a lot of people are kind of projecting him as a late first, early second. So he's not a guy that I see landing with us. Salute to... Hold on, let me see. Where am I at? I did see something else that got my attention. STEM T, thank you for becoming a member. Guys, you want to keep the lights on? Link is pinned to the top. Where I could have sworn I saw something else that I wanted to answer, and I don't see it now.
Austin Eckler?
No, God no. If he comes to the Raiders, I'm gonna lose my mind.
What about? I'll let you get to that. I'll wait for you to find it because I got.
How much guaranteed money? The numbers have not come out yet pertaining to Josh Jacobs. Big Ragu. Nothing's come out in terms of his numbers yet. We know Saquon, it was a 3-year, $37.75, but there's incentives in that deal where he can make up to $48.6 million on that contract. Low key, good signing for them. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am. Edwards now gone. Henry to the Ravens. Look, anything's possible right now, man. Anything is possible right now. Eagles overpaid. Say, yeah, he's actually getting close to that Mohican money that Christian McCaffrey's getting, which I've told you guys, I never thought another running back would see the money that he's getting. And again, Saquon is another guy that's injury prone. Jacobs missed about 7 games in his first 5 years in the league. That was it. He didn't have a lot of mileage on him coming into the league. And you have a guy that's been often injured, ACL, ankles. He's getting $15 million a year. Yep, Singletary went to the Giants. We talked about that as well. Telesco's going to bring in Eckler. You know what? If he's a Raider, he's a Raider. Look, I'm not going to sit here and throw a fit and bitch and moan. Like, look, if he's a Raider, he's a Raider. It is what it is.
But here's a name because he just got released. But Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aaron, no, I can tell you from experience, he's gonna get. You have to use him. Green Bay did a great job of using him in tandem with somebody with another back. But he's a guy that would come in and infuse some instant offense. He's great. You're talking about a winner and great in the locker room. He's a locker room dude that his teammates adore. The organization adores. I think you're looking at a guy that could potentially. I mean, he would be a guy about 11 million a year. It maybe get him for 2 for, let's say, with the guarantees like 28. You know what I'm saying? 2 for 28 with let's say 21 guaranteed.
For Aaron Jones,
Yeah.
I would offer him something similar to the number that DeAndre Swift just got with the Bears. And he's got a 3-year, 24.5 mil. I'll give him something like that. Why not? And people are actually in the chat saying it now. Let's bring Aaron Jones. Desert just said Aaron Jones and Tay friends. Like,
They
hey,
are.
hey, why not?
Hey, I living here in Vegas. I can say that when I am out frequently, Aaron Jones is here a lot. He's here a lot, and Harry Ruiz, the Spanish voice of the Raiders, actually covered Aaron when he was down at UTEP because he was the voice of the Miners. So he's got a long history with Aaron. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was an option at all. And I would say this: I think for both, it would be an upgrade.
Shout out to the Black Al Davis in the chat. He said, "Who is that speaking? Is that Arrigo?"
Who's the black guy? Hey, how do you know me?
The Black Al Davis is his name. He said, "First time listening. Appreciate you, bro." Shout out to Ruben Rust on the 499 Super. Is there any talks of us double dipping at defensive tackle with, I'm guessing, Leonard Williams or Eric Armstead taking hometown tax-free state discount next position of priority for free agency? So like I said, as it pertains to the defensive tackles, I don't want to see us do that. Look, if we have the money, yeah, but I've said it before. If you're in excess of like close to $20 million on average for 2 defensive tackles, you are out of your damn mind. Pertaining to the next free agent move, it's probably going to have to be a running back right now, and there's not many left now. You got Aaron Jones available. You have Derrick Henry available. Austin Eckler is available, and that's it right now.
AJ Dillon
as well. So which one? Because I can never get these two. Like, I always get confused with both of them. Which one is the one that pretty much is the mirror of Josh Jacobs? Is it Jones or is it Dillon? Like, which one is that downhill runner? Is that Dillon?
Dillon's a Derrick Henry, a Derrick Henry clone if he could stay healthy, and that's been it. They call him Quadzilla.
Because I've seen them like show like clips of him, and like the dude's got these ridiculously large quads, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, and I've seen the way he runs. Like he's another one that has like that violent style downhill runner. Like I wouldn't mind if we can get either one of them. You can give me either one of those free agent running backs right now, and I'm here for it. Shout out to Rob Cisneros, 14 months a member, of course. Henry Jones or Eckler, toss up. I would probably take Jones. maybe
I would,
Henry.
I would selfishly too, just because I want to see Jonesy on a more regular basis. But I will say this: I'm gonna push back on you a little bit. I would take that. I would double dip at the D tackle spot and spend that money. And I'm gonna tell you why. Al Davis once said, within the first 10 or 15 plays of the game, you want to put the quarterback on his ass and hit him hard. And that's something that hasn't happened. If you can get more guys that do that, if you get Leonard Williams and Wilkins on the inside, then you got Kuntz on the outside. You can have Wilson stand up with Crosby on the other side. Man, yeah, there, your face alone, right there.
Fuck.
That's the reason why you do it. Your face gave it
Filthy.
away.
Filthy.
Your face gave it away, and then whatever the Mahomes rules are, you make them up as you go.
What
Put them
rules? What rules?
exactly,
Packers
exactly.
expected to release tackle David Bakhtiari.
Nah, he's injured goods. David Debach is a phenomenal player. He made left tackle look easy for over a decade, but his knees had, I think, 3 surgeries since the ACL, and there's some nerve damage in there. So I would be surprised if he um, i- if he gets a big deal. Now he's never played the right side, and that means you have to kick Colton Miller to the right side.
Oh God,
Is that
no, no, no,
so? There,
no,
so there's your answer.
no. Oakland Raiders said Cooper DeJean or Nate Wiggins. Who would you take? Like I would take Wiggins, but Wiggins is going to be gone inside the top 10. That's my projection as it pertains to Nate Wiggins right now. I think he's projected to be within one of the first corners, if not the first, off of the board, and I think he's going to be taken within the first 10 picks of the first round.
Out of the two, I would take Wiggins as well. I don't know what position DeJean plays. I don't know if he's a corner or a free safety. He reminds me a lot of a former Iowa Buckeye or Iowa Hawkeye, Micah Hyde with the Bills. Very jack of all trades, master of none. With that being said, I would take TA over them both. I love his
Terry and
game.
Arnold, yeah. Well, as it stands right now, if we stay pat at 13, a lot of these outlets and a lot of these people that are doing these analysts doing the mock drafts have us taking Terry on Arnold with that 13th overall. Shout out to Brother Raider in the chat. He says, shout out to Joe. Been following him since the move from Oakland to Vegas. He's spot on. Salute, sir. We did our first show together last week, and I've said it. If it's a weekly spot, if we're on a couple of times a week, like you're gonna see a lot more of this because you guys really enjoyed the debates, the talks, and all the news that we were able to bring to you guys last week. And look, free agency frenzy period is here right now, and we still have plenty to talk about. So, first, shameless plug. Let them know where they can find you.
Go to the franchise LV, franchisesportsmedia.com. Follow. You can subscribe or become a member. You can click on the notification and like the franchise page. It says Franchise Sports Media right here on YouTube. So go ahead and do that. I will be starting a daily show this Wednesday. So it'll be myself. Hammer will be on there. We got a bunch of guests that are going to be coming through on a daily basis. It's national sports talk with a heavy Vegas feel. Wednesdays will always be Raider Wednesday, so that day it's a ton of Raider talk. We'll try to have Raider guests on those days. I already reached out to a few people, so go ahead and follow me there at Joe Arrigo FSM on all social media. That's on X, Facebook, and IG, and TikTok. I'm on all of them. Whatever.
Shout out to AC Ibarra. 2 years, man. Down with Hammer, 2+ years. Killer content. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for your continued support. 2 years, man. We're going into year 4. Appreciate you, bro. David Zahn said, post a link. I will post it if I can get a hold of it right now. Give me 1 second, actually.
Also, I also want to point out, I don't know if it's been talked about yet, but former Raider Keyshawn Nixon, who's now a 2-time Pro Bowler, just re-signed with his team. So,
Jesus.
yeah, he just re-signed with Green Bay. So
I'm going to
he
get
just
this.
literally just texted me.
Here we go. Where's my chat now? Now I got to find you guys again. All right, guys, it's there in the chat for you. That's the YouTube channel. Make sure to show your support. Make sure to subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Been a long time, but feel like something's brewing in Vegas. You ain't lying, Silver. You are not lying. Raider Rudy, great work today, guys. Appreciate you. Look, we're not done. I'm going to stay on. You guys want to run this for a while? We can run this for a while. Like, you give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Like,
Yeah, I'm with it.
we've already been on. We've only been on 40 minutes. We could do maybe a whole nother hour and 20 minutes if that's what you guys want right now. Again, NFL Network right now is doing their free agency frenzy. They started this at 12 o'clock this afternoon, and they're running
No,
this until 8 o'clock tonight.
oh, Africa, you're on the East Coast. I'm about to
Yeah.
say, I talked to you yesterday. I was in California, flew in, got in about 11-ish, right? Woke up at 3 a.m. to various texts at 3 a.m. my time from people, and lasted about an hour. Went back to sleep for like an hour and a half. By 5:30, quarter to 6, I was up. Texts were flying off. Messages were coming through. So I'm drained, but I listen. This is like the most wonderful time of the year. Free
Yep.
agency, right? The draft. This is what it's about for
It's
me.
it's
So
crazy because what 2 years ago, during this time, we ran it up. We ran it up like 1,000 new subs in the month of March as we hit the new league year. So I know a lot of you guys have been around for 2+ years. Appreciate y'all for the continued support. And those looking, y'all see at the top of the screen, 8842. We're getting closer and closer to 9K. We're about what? 158. 158 from 9K. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's run this shit up, y'all. 4 year,
hey,
$48
so
million for Jacobs. You have got to be fucking kidding me.
12 million a year. But okay, it comes out at 12 million a year. It comes out at that. But let's see what the numbers actually are in terms of how much is up front and how much is on the back end. That's going to be the thing. The corner market is starting to settle a little bit. If you look at it, Mike Ford, the Texans have agreed to a deal with him, 2 years, $4.5 million. So the corner market is not robust right now. Let me see
And
something.
you
See if
guys
I
got
can.
to also, there's another corner that's out there. L'Jarius Sneed. Now, he was franchise tagged, but he was granted permission back in February to seek a trade. And there's about 7 teams currently interested in him. Now, as it stands, being franchise tagged, and T. Higgins is also requesting a trade right now too. If either one of those guys are traded to another team, that next team has to give them their next contract. And that's like the first thing that has to happen before that trade could even be completed. So 7 teams interested in Sneed. We kind of want that to happen, like get him out of our division. We'll see what happens.
I think too with Snead, I think that the team to watch is Detroit. I mean, they're in a win now mode. Their window is wide open. They could use another corner, especially in that division where you have a team right now that's also in win now mode that's going for it. Um, and Detroit knows they need to strike where the iron's hot. Whether or not they'll give up that 2 to Kansas City, because that's what Kansas City wants for them,
Yeah.
that's another question.
Shout out to Lil Tiger in the chat, member for 4 months. Guys, thoughts on Mike Owinu? I feel like you mentioned him not too long ago.
Me?
I think
Maybe.
maybe.
I'd have to see. I'd have to see. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Hold on one sec. I'm gonna look him up real quick. I could have
Look him up.
sworn you might have mentioned him recently. Oh, you know what? I think you did bring him up, or somebody else did recently. He was a guard for the Patriots.
I
He's
might have.
he's
I
a
mean, we
he's a
talked
free
about
he's a
so many.
free agent now, but yeah, he was a guard for the Patriots.
No, you know what? You know what? We did, but it was. We were in prepping for the other show, getting ready for the other show last week, and I think it was uh, Johnny Kicknuts that brought him up because he said, "I don't want no more fucking Patriots on the
Yeah,
team."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No. And honestly, like, yeah, I'm trying not to show it because I tell you guys all the time, I understand that this is a business. Players come, players go. But realistically, there are 2 people that fucked this up as it pertains to Josh Jacobs. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. They're the reasons that JJ is not with us anymore. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm not sugarcoating shit. These 2 jackasses are the reason that Josh Jacobs is now in Green Bay.
I would agree. And here's some more on his numbers. So it looks like 12.5 million is guaranteed out of Jacobs 48. And that 25 plus million cap hit in year 4 is probably not going to be seen. Raiders just signed Gunnar Minshew to a 2-year deal, by the way.
Gardner, Uncle Rico, Minshew is now a Raider.
You're welcome.
Guys, look, QB competition, as it stands right now, I still think that we have to get a quarterback in this draft. And I'm already seeing people in the chat. Hold on. Let me actually
I'm
do it.
gonna look at the. There's no way I can see the chat in here, so I'm gonna.
That's the response I'm seeing. Shout out to Desert Raider. I got Nick FML. Let's do the Chappelle one.
Oh, yeah, I'm
too.
looking. I got YouTube up on my thing now. I'm gonna be a little delayed looking at it.
Let's do the Chappelle one too. And are you serious? Yeah, Uncle Rico is in Sin City, guys. This I'm waiting for NFL Network to talk about it, and I'm really curious to hear what they're gonna say. Hug D said, "Wait, what? You effing kidding me? Nah, bro. No. Gardner Minshew is straight fire. Sincerely, Gardner Minshew." I'm done.
Wait a minute. I see someone say they officially hate today. Why would you hate today when you just signed the best free agent you could possibly sign in Christian Wilkinson and at the biggest position of need because of Gardner Minshew? No. Let's stop focusing just on the offense and understand the Raiders and Antonio Pierce wants to get back to beating the shit out of people on the defensive side of the ball. They want to get back to the days of Chester McLaughlin beating the shit out of people on the line and letting guys get to the quarterback and create havoc, which in turn will help the back end. That part I get. But you know what this tells me? Yeah. Justin Fields' market is shit. The league looks at him as he's not that guy. He's not him as Bear fans claimed he is. And the Bears may be stuck with Fields to go along with Caleb Williams, which will put a dent in their salary cap. Oh, this is great.
He said because now I have to hear Uncle Rico jokes for the whole last season. So you know what? I'm going to ask the chat a logical question right now. Would you rather have Gardner Minshew or Brian Hoyer? Simple question. If you guys want me to take it to a poll and put it on the poll, we could. You know what? Let's do that.
Add Justin Fields to that too.
Start a poll.
That's phenomenal. I look at my nephew played with Gardner Minshew at Washington State. His name's Isaiah Love. You can go Google it. We call him Zilla. Zilla will tell you Gardner Minshew is that guy. You want a guy that's gonna a Baker Mayfield type? He's that guy. Now, is he Bake? No, there's not too many guys that are, but he brings the locker room together. Guys rally around him, and he's won. Look at him in Philly. He won games in Philly. He when the Raiders went to Indianapolis last year, he beat the Raiders in a must-win game. I mean, the guy just makes fucking plays happen. You cannot be disappointed with that. I like it.
There you guys go. It's up in the chat, and damn. All right. Minshew's in the lead already at 84%, 85%. Like, come on, man. Irvin said Field is him. Other people, you have people in the chat saying Fields. Hoyer, yeah, right. Minshew is a backup if he is not a starter. Stash and mullet on the strip. That's a fact.
That's going to be great. Hey, I'm going to make sure I get him on the show. I guarantee I'm going to get him on the show.
Can you make a broom handle option? No, I'm done. You're terrible. Gardner Minshew is an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer. That's a fact. I was pissed at first, but a decent backup, I guess. See, you guys come here to actually see the light. And that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, but guess what, though? There is a lot of trailer parks here in Vegas, so, I mean, he can fit right in.
Jesus. Weak.
It's a 2-year deal, by the way. It's a 2-year deal.
They could probably find their way out of it after next season the same way they did with Hoyer, because Hoyer had one more year left on that contract.
Here, I'm going to give you the deal. 2 years, $25 million deal that includes $15 million fully guaranteed.
Wow.
He will be their starter next year. How's that?
So this right here tells me that they have no interest. They have no interest in Justin Fields. They're still going to make a move for their quarterback of the future. Shout out to Oki on the $2. Max about to Lil ass boy, him to death at practice. I'm done. Lil ass boy. I'm done with y'all. Stash, mullet, and parachute pants. Oh my God.
I love it.
Minshew's going to be a mentor. Minshew will be a good competition and guidance for O'Connell. See, that's valid as hell. I like that.
See, I don't think it's so. I don't think it's O'Connell.
I've been saying it though, and it's no disrespect to O'Connell, and I've said this time and time out. My opinion, he's going to be a backup at best throughout his career. Look, we're not breaking the bank for him right now. He's under his rookie contract. He's only making a little over $1 million a year on average. Like, chill, chill. Minshew's going to be cooking, whipping the cookie dough. I'm done. We don't need two mustaches behind center. Pause. You guys are probably losing
Yo,
your minds now. I'm going to close that poll, though. Like, I think it actually changed, too. I'm going to close it, though. Oh,
it's
I got to
60.
go the other
I'm
way.
looking at it as 65-35 Minshew.
So let's see
So
where does it show where it finished on the chat? Yeah. 64 Minshew, 35 Field, 0 to Hoyer. Salute to the 68 that voted.
for real, you guys are the MVPs. Now here's the thing. In I talked about it a little bit earlier. Looking at a guy who maybe may have had a rough year this year, but the year before showed flashes or did enough to make you go, let me check him out.
Yeah.
Here's a name that no one's talking about, and I like him a lot. I have him rated high in my quarterback rankings, but Joe Milton. Might imagine drafting Joe Milton in the third or fourth round, and you have a year or two to groom him with Minshew as the guy as the
honestly,
bridge.
honestly, I don't see Minshew. Not Minshew. I'm sorry. I don't see Joe Milton, and I've said this a couple of times. I'm looking at him as, and this is me being as honest as possible. Sixth, seventh, maybe in the UFL.
Ooh,
Just because he showed off his arm at the combine, I'm still not convinced. I'm not.
well, here's my pre combine rankings have not changed
Okay.
post combine, and that's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Drake May, Penix, Jordan Travis, Bo Nix, Milton Pratt, and Spencer Rattler. And Rattler probably would be lower if there was somebody I could think that I could put ahead.
I'm not a Rattler fan at all. Like
Neither am I.
I've had the story about him when he got benched for Caleb Williams in the Red River rivalry against Texas, and all I could do was sit there and cry my eyes out laughing. I was like, this dude is a bum. And then all of a sudden, because he gets benched, "Oh, I'm gonna go into the portal and go to South Carolina." Like, dude, I'm not impressed by him at all. Shout out to Lumpy. 23 months. We getting close to 2 years, my friend. Minshew will be excited to have Max call him little ass boy every day. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all are too much.
I
Are,
love it.
are we going to draft a band-aid at quarterback too? No. If we draft a quarterback, the quarterback should be the quarterback of the future for like 10 plus years as long as he stays healthy and can win. So, and I do think that they're still going that route. But like I said, as it stands right now, there should be no more talks. There should be zero talks pertaining to Justin Fields moving forward. As it stands, I believe he's set to make a little over $3 million. If his fifth year option is picked up, the fifth year option is, I believe, $22.3 million. Now we're good. We're much better off getting a rookie in the draft, let him develop, and see what the possibilities are. Either he comes in, he competes, or he develops for 1 year. That's it.
Gardner Minshew, he gets to at least he'll get his number. He'll wear number 10 since Jimmy's going to be released.
Yep.
Um, Look, I have an affinity for players who just let their nuts hang when they go out there and play. And I'm not saying he's this type of player, but a guy that did it in Raider history was Ken Stabler. He just let his nuts hang. He didn't give a flying fuck. He's gonna go out there and just an old ball player.
Right.
I think I see a lot of that attitude with Gardner Minshew. So I don't have a problem with Minshew coming aboard and being that guy for the Raiders, especially if he's got a year, maybe two, to really show that he could be the guy. If he flashes, it shows it. Look what Baker Mayfield did. He was a bust in Cleveland, at no fault of his own. Goes to Carolina, who gives up on him. And then he goes to Tampa Bay, bets on himself, and is $50 million richer today. So I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be Minshew, but it could be because I mean, if Jalen Hurts wasn't in Philly, he may be the guy starting for him right now, not then, and not him. They wouldn't have let him. They wouldn't have traded him.
I'm putting another poll up because I see you guys are still got some reserves right now. And this is going to be a fun one. I'm real curious to see.
But okay, so I will ask this though too.
Go ahead.
Um, if the Raiders, let's say obviously they sign Minshew, but let's say they move up to number 6 to take JJ McCarthy, is that a problem?
Nope.
I would agree with that.
So here you guys go. Thoughts on Minshew, a Raider? Happy, meh, or or
What the fuck?
uh-oh. 15 mil
That's great.
guaranteed to Minshew. Minshew runs better bless DC, but he ran and protected the ball like a girl. I would have taken Mayfield over any of these bums we took a poll on. Yeah, you know what? Mayfield, again, we talked about this before. Mayfield bet on himself, a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Tampa Bay Bucks last season to now get a 3-year, $100 million contract with $50 million guaranteed. And a lot of the writing was on the wall. We talked about this last week in terms of Mike Evans getting the extension. He could have gotten a lot more money anywhere else. He stayed put. The offensive coordinator that the Bucks just hired was his coordinator, was Baker Mayfield's coordinator with the Rams in 2022. So it kind of all made sense. And pretty much the GM of the Bucks, his very first draft pick was Mike Evans. There were talks about that, like telling this GM, like, you better not mess this up. You better find a way to keep him here or you're not having family dinner with us anymore. So, look, everything worked out for them. I will say, I'm going to project this early, Tampa might win that division again this coming season. But I think it's going to be competitive as it pertains to Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins. Panthers, I'm still not sure about yet. And the Saints, yeah, they're just going to continue to do what they're doing.
It's like a old car just ready to die.
Shout out to those talking about Mr. G Hub in the building. Hopefully it'll be official come Wednesday that he's gone.
Who's Jimmy? Oh, Jimmy's done. No, yeah. Jimmy's. That's unofficially official. that him and I think the big question, for me, it's not a big question, but can they get something for Renfro? I mean, if you take a 6th-round pick, 5th-round pick for him at this point, would you do?
That's probably all you're gonna get. So yeah, sure, give me the draft capital because that's all you're gonna get. As it stands right now, for those that are unaware, we have 8 draft picks going into the 2024 NFL draft. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting some type of draft compensation back for Hunter Renfro, but we'll see what happens.
So I think if the Raiders don't sign another offensive tackle, right? It's not the sexy 1st-round pick, but winners get built from the inside out.
Yep.
What if they traded back to the mid-20s and pick up a few picks and then take, let's say, the kid from Oklahoma, Guyton, or
we've messed around with a couple of mock drafts where like we've done that just to get another offensive lineman, and I wouldn't mind that either. Guys, I'm gonna just go through these stats real quick pertaining to Uncle Rico. His stat muse, really, he has a whole full-blown mullet. I fucking can't. So he's played 5 seasons in the league for the Eagles, the Jaguars, and the Colts. For his career, 9,937 yards, 9 touchdowns. Let's go into last year. 17 games played. You guys know Anthony Richardson went down with the season ending. I believe it was a shoulder injury. Let's see. 305 for 490. Completion percentage of 62.2. 3,305 yards last season. Average 6.7. 194 yards a game. 15 touchdowns. 9 interceptions. Sacked 34 times for a loss of 187 yards. He had 8 fumbles. 5 of them lost. QBR 84.6 for his career. 14 hold on. First career, 99, 37 passing, 7 on average, 202 per game, 59 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, QBR of 90.2. So I don't know if that makes you guys feel a little bit better. I'm trying to the best of my ability. You know, I love my team. What's crazy is I'm pretty sure I mentioned Minshew as a free agent. I don't know if I necessarily said him coming to us, but he had been mentioned a couple of weeks ago as a quarterback that could have went to any of these teams that needed a quarterback. I thought realistically, the one team that came to mind was the Broncos, and clearly that didn't happen. It is what it is. Uncle Rico is officially not official, not until Wednesday, anyways. But Uncle Rico is set to be a Las Vegas Raider. So the mullet and
The stash.
the stash, man. Jesus,
I
like
mean,
that 59 to 24 TD to interception ratio. Okay, he had beat the Raiders every time they play. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, and this year was we all know it was an extremely important game when they beat them.
Yep.
You know, there was not like they didn't need the game, and the coach went out there and acted like it was their Super Bowl, and credit him for doing that. The one thing about him is he's not a guy that's flat. He doesn't come out flat. He's always on 10, no matter
He
what.
definitely has a different type of energy, and I can't take that away from him. Like, he definitely has a competitive type of grit, but like, he ain't afraid to do his shit talking while he's out on that field either. And it's like his energy is definitely something we could definitely use.
So there's the homie Perry on Twitter. Perry's a good dude. He's good, real good dude. He just tweeted out, "I'm glad this. I'm so glad this just field shit is over. The Raiders aren't gonna. The Raiders weren't desperate for a quarterback. Let that shit go. He's ass little ass boy will now compete with Fat Favre. Let's go."
Oh my God, you got little ass boy and Officer Farva. It is what it is. Is there a handicap for mullets? No. Minshew Mania in Vegas. I'll buy that for $1. Yeah, I'm so done. Y'all are too much.
He
Pittman agreed to terms. It's a 3-year deal, which could be up to $71.5 million in incentives. Again, the Titans are expected to sign running back Tony Pollard to a 3-year, $24 million deal. The Bears, we talked about that before. DeAndre Swift, 3-year, $24 million deal. I'm waiting for them to talk about this whole thing with Minshew. Like, I really am.
They're not going to.
The
They'll be
49ers are signing Leonard Floyd.
Are they?
Gabe Davis is going to Jacksonville, 3-year, $39 million deal with up to $50 million in incentives.
That means Calvin Ridley's all but gone
Think
from
so?
Jacksonville.
Well,
Oh
yeah. I saw
Yeah.
somebody put something up about that the other day, too. Again, Robert Hunt, 5-year, $100 million deal. Right guard. Here we go. Hold up.
How and when, maybe in the draft, maybe free agency, maybe be a trade. No, it is Gardner Minshew with a joke that I created that now the most famous RV is headed to Las Vegas. I literally created this joke. He gets a 2-year, $25 million contract, $15 million guaranteed. Gardner Minshew now going to compete with Aiden O'Connell. Remember, last year was backing up a rookie, ended up playing against them, led them to the playoffs. A really nice, solid signing for the Las Vegas Raiders. So then you say, what does this mean for Justin Fields? First of all, the Chicago Bears have not. They seem to be open.
I don't think that there's a market right now for Justin Fields. I'm just saying. No, you know what's funny, Nick? I looked at something earlier. They already actually started grading some of these signings today. And if I told you guys what they gave us in terms of the Christian Wilkins deal, you guys are going to lose your minds. They gave us a C plus for that signing. It is what it is. Like, again,
I don't.
we will forever be hated by ESPN. Um, to see a grade like that for one of the top defensive tackles, a guy that you guys know, he'd been on my list for months. I had Chris Jones, I had Justin Matabuki, I had Christian Wilkins, I had Leonard Williams. Look, we got Wilkins. I'm happy as hell about that. For them to say that was a joke. The terms, Nick, the terms for who? The terms for Wilkins is 4-year, 110 million, 84.725 mil guaranteed. Gardner Minshew, aka Uncle Rico, 2-year, 25 million, 15 million guaranteed.
I'm gonna throw that ball over Mount Charleston.
Throw that shit over Red Rock Canyon.
Uh,
Yo.
I mean, look, the thing about Minshew, um, and I'm kidding when I say this is, everybody knows Jimmy G loves to go to strip clubs, but Gardner Minshew looks like he could be a freaking adult movie star. So I mean, he's right here in town. He can make that 15 million plus some.
We're going to have to cue this up now. Like, this is probably going to continue to be the ongoing sound now. Now that we got Uncle Rico, and dude looks like he's straight out of the 70s. Yeah. Yeah. You just wait, Nick. Did I just break this to you? It happened hours ago, but yes, we got our defensive tackle Christian Wilkins, a 4-year, $110 million deal with 84.725 mil guaranteed. But can he throw it over the stratosphere? I'm so done. Give him some spinach to go with that mullet. Yo, you guys are going in right now. Let me take down the poll again. I want to see how that one finished. Early, give me the results. 39 for meh, 32 for what the and 28% happy. Shout out to the 107 that voted. Shout out to the 210 that is still in here. If you guys haven't already, break them thumbs. Hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions in the house of Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Raider Nation News today. Tyron Smith and Mike Onwenu headline available offensive lineman. We just talked about Onwenu, so yeah.
I mean, again, available offensive lineman. There aren't too many right tackles that's out there. So again, Yosh Neiman. I'm trying to be realistic with a guy's name. Yosh would be a guy that I think would be ideal. Again, he's familiar with the offense, what they want to do with it. I think you got to find a guard at this point. You got to redo that right side a little bit. If they can do that, I mean, the left side's not bad at all. Just got to stay healthy. And even at that, it's easier to run block than it is pass block. So
They're showing the top available free agents as it stands right now. Danielle Hunter, Tyron Smith, Kendall Fuller, Leonard Williams, Marquise Brown, DJ Reader, Patrick Queen, Cameron Curl, Trent Brown, and Calvin Ridley are the top 10 remaining or top 10 available free agents as it stands right now. So y'all want to hear something crazy? Kirk Cousins, $237 million in his career earnings. This dude knows how to get money, man. He's been tagged several times. Like, this dude really knows how to get some money.
man, that's that. He's from the Sports Business Hall of Fame, as my good friend Andrew Brandt likes to say. Like that right there, $330 million in his career guaranteed. Like that's
Crazy.
That's for a guy that was drafted late, that they didn't expect to start, and that was considered a dweeb at Michigan State. And he comes in and still a dweeb. He's just $330 million. I mean, that's a lot of food at the Waffle House, a lot of lemon pepper wings at Magic City.
You like that?
I mean, I know his wife's from Atlanta, or she's got family down there, so I think that played a bigger role in it. But I just to see, I'm anxious to see how the A going to school down there, where I went to college. I'm anxious to see how the A kind of adopts him.
So listen to this, because they have it on the screen right now. Their projected starting offense for the Atlanta Falcons: Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Like, they have weapons, man. They have weapons. Like, and you guys know how I feel about Bijan, another one of my Texas guys, hook 'em horns. Like, and I told you guys, wherever he went, I'm gonna follow the kid's career. I have his rookie card. And he definitely is a special talent. Like, they've really been doing a phenomenal job with the running backs of late too. Like, you have Jonathan Brooks is coming into this draft class. Granted, he tore his ACL towards the tail end of this past season. I still think he's going to probably be the first running back off the board, and you'll probably start seeing him probably week anywhere between week 6 and week 8 of the upcoming 2024 NFL season.
That's crazy. Atlanta's one of those teams that division is so bad that they could like you said earlier, they could come in and win it. Um, I think the big question is going to be who's really going to wear number 8, Kyle Pitts or Kirk Cousins.
I think Pitts may give it up.
I wouldn't.
I think Pitts may give it up.
He better break bread. He's getting out of that 330 million.
Yeah.
You better drop dime on if you want it that bad.
Where are we at right now? Let me just see something. We have 191 in the chat. Yeah, one of my boys just sent me a text. Looks like y'all got Uncle Rico. Like, yeah, we got Uncle Rico. Guys, thumbs up, thumbs down. Y'all want to do a vault line for a little bit? We've already been on a little over an hour.
Somebody just texted me. He said Justin Fields is going to be the face of the UFL.
Ooh. Damn.
But they literally said the Rocks League. So, I mean,
Jesus. Let's get this going.
I actually like I think.
I'm not. Look, everybody keeps asking, am I going to watch it? I'll watch week 1 and see if I'm impressed at all.
Being able to cover the XFL out here last year.
Yeah.
I really liked a lot of the things that they did, and talking over with their commissioner Russ Brandt during Radio Robo, we kind of had conversations outside of that as well. I really like the innovations that they're having, and that they're gonna start implementing. So, I mean, I didn't like the fact that they took the team out of Vegas, but there was really no place for them to play. I mean, Cashman Field is a shithole. So I get that.
Oops,
we got people calling in.
We will, if anybody wants to. I'm putting it up on the screen now. There you guys have it. You guys see it on the bottom of the screen. Call into the SeatGeek Vault line, 347-471-0361. We're talking about free agency frenzy. Again, Andre James is set to get a 3-year extension with the Raiders. Christian Wilkins, free agent defensive tackle from the Miami Dolphins, 4-year, $110 million contract with $84.725 guaranteed. Gardner Minshew, Uncle Rico, 2-year, $25 million deal, $15 million guaranteed. Sound off on the topics. Vault line is open, 347-471-0361. Call on in, guys. Minshew, Blue Chew, live at the Bunny Ranch. Here we go. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson could go to the XFL. Yeah, it's the UFL, but yeah, I got you. I don't see anybody going after him anymore. And if they do, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't even see a market realistically when he becomes a free agent. I don't see a market for Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's done. First caller.
Let's see.
Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Hammer? This the one and only, man.
What's going on, bro?
So I'm really not even upset with the direction that we're going. I understand it. You got to have an insurance policy going in the direction of getting Minshew, because you set yourself up for a direction rather than forcing it. You still allow it to come to you.
Right.
Having a veteran, putting all our eggs in one basket with Aiden O'Connell, we got to be pleased with what we got for him, with the results of what we asked of him. You know, we got to be okay with that. But you don't want to go into next season with that or nothing if we don't get a rookie that we want going into next year. So I think the Gardner Minshew pickup is solid, because you still put yourself in position for no matter what happens, whatever direction we go.
I think depending on like the route that they are going, and I still am under the belief that we are still going for our quarterback of the future, that like it might be a similar situation to what we're about to see in Pittsburgh as it pertains to Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph, where there's going to be a solid quarterback competition going into camp, regardless of who it is, whoever the quarterback is that we draft, that you're going to see a QB competition, that it's going to be another one where the league, all the media outlets are going to be keeping a close eye on throughout training camp.
It makes sense. Exactly. I understand that. I understand that philosophy, and I agree with it because you're just setting yourself in position for next year for whatever happens. That way, you're still competitive.
Yeah. Shit.
I don't think this is a fail. I think Raider Nation needs to calm down. I don't think this is a fail. This is just putting ourselves in position for whatever scenario we go with.
I think as it stands right now, like, look, we knocked one out of the park earlier today as it pertains to Christian Wilkins. Again, a guy
Victory with
like
that one.
a guy like Minshew, I know for a lot of people, it's like this is not the sexiest free agency pick. Look, I said the same thing last year when we got Robert Spillane. I kind of did an old Conor McGregor and was just like straight up.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Like I just didn't think
You
it
know
was.
what you're getting.
Yeah, like when we got Spillane, it was like I didn't, in my opinion, when we signed him, I'm like that is not the sexiest free agency signing that we had. But yo, he sure as hell proved me wrong in the first couple of weeks. I was like, holy shit,
If
where
you
did this
know
dude come
football,
from?
you know football, man.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not always about the name. Sometimes it's all about the fit and then the players around him, which helps groom that guy to bring the best of what's in him.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about the fit sometimes, not about the sexy name. So I knew when we picked him up, I knew if we put him in position, he'll be okay for it.
Wholeheartedly agree with that, bro. Definitely appreciate the call, my brother.
Appreciate you, Hammer. Y'all take care, man. Thank you.
Take care. Shout out. Go ahead.
No, JT the Brick weighed in. He said, calm the F down and let's see what they do in the draft. Feels like I'm babysitting a bunch of whiny toddlers half the time. You hated Russell Wilson too. If you think this is the final QB move, then say what you want. For others, let the draft come into play.
Kenny, Justin Fields isn't even up for debate anymore. He's not coming here. There's no way. He's not coming here. That pick at 13 looks like a surrender flag on drafting offense. In what sense?
I think it allows him to go in any way.
Yeah,
Any way up and down.
Adam said we needed a vet QB and a DT and got him. Yeah, absolutely. I felt the same about Epps last season, but he played well. That safety room between him and Merrick, they were very, very good last year. Merrick had his best season. And I said going into his junior year that he was going to have to have a breakout year or they were going to find a way to ship him out. And he ain't going nowhere. He's going to play out that rookie contract, and we'll see what the possibilities are after that. Adam
Agreed.
says, sounds like JT. Guys, the vault line is open. You guys see it on the bottom of the screen. I didn't even realize I left it up. 347-471-0361. Call on in. Free agency frenzy is still going right now. Again, I have it up on NFL Network in front of me. So if anything else breaks, obviously you guys are going to know right away. What are we showing now? They're showing the Super Bowl, the game-winning touchdown, whatever. The funniest thing about that was Hardman didn't even realize that he won the Super Bowl. Like, dude, whatever you were on, just put it down.
So, funny story about him. We were at Radio Road 2 years ago in LA, and he was obviously they weren't in it, and he was down there, and our creative director, he walked by and did a double take, and then came back, and she was like, "So you want to jump on the show?" And he was like, "Oh, I gotta go do these shows, but I'll come back for your number." She was like, "Okay," didn't think anything of it, and then told her who it was. She was like, "Oh, he ain't getting my number. Like, he's a chief."
Oh my God. Shout out to Nick on the 199 throwing the maker crypto in the air, Raider Nation. Yeah, I can't. There's a couple other defensive linemen that are out there right now that it doesn't seem like too many people are talking about. Chase Young being one of them.
What has he done? Like seriously, what has he done? He's not the disruptive force he was at Ohio State. He went to a team whose strength is a defensive line, and for the first few plays of the Super Bowl, he looked good. But you have a Bosa on the other side of you and those other guys, and he still didn't do anything. Chase Young to me is a bust, and he's not that guy since his ACL injury.
What about Sweat?
There's somebody right there. In the trade market, I think he's got 35 sacks in his career or something like that. Off the top, he's a guy that I would definitely be interested in. But I want interior guys though, bro. Like if I'm the Raiders fans, Um, I think that if I'm a Raiders fan, that's where I think I would go. I would want to. I'd Big Cat's another one. Look, I'll give you a funny scenario. What if the Panthers traded Brian Burns to the Giants for that sixth pick
They're still looking for a quarterback. So what? You say that we would trade with them for that six?
with Carolina? I
Yeah,
mean, there's a way for them to restockpile the draft picks that they foolishly gave up
that's
for
true.
for Bryce.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention this earlier in the live. Defensive tackle Fletcher Cox actually retired earlier today. So that's two like really standouts for the Eagles that have retired in the last week. Jason Kelsey, the center, he retired, and Fletcher Cox retired earlier today. And they lost a couple of guys. Kevin Byard, he was released, and now DeAndre Swift is now with the Chicago Bears.
Oh, so just got this sent to me.
Uh-oh.
Josh Jacobs deal, the reported deal, 4 years, 48 million. The real deal, 1 year, 14.8 million, and 3 years of Packers options. So strong deal for 1 year, and then we'll see. Again,
He's
when you
pulling.
look at,
Is he pulling a Woodson? Like he's gonna go to Green Bay and then come back to us and finish his career? Like I'm here for it.
I am too. If it means Green Bay winning a Super Bowl, I'm all for it. I asked this question, and I'm being serious when I ask this. And I know I've heard Charles talk about this in the past, where he felt like his first 5 years in the league, he just got by on athleticism. He learned how to become a professional and a pro in Green Bay, and then he came back to impart that wisdom to the guys on the Raiders, to Raider Nation.
Hmm.
Um, and I know I'm gonna be biased. I know everybody's gonna be biased in here, but if he had to choose, a gun to his head, to be remembered as one or the other, a Super Bowl champion with the Packers or a super athletic freak that left and came back after growth, which one would he rather be remembered as?
Raider.
I mean, I can see it both ways. I know you say that because you don't want to admit it, but it's
No,
okay.
no, no. I really do believe like it was being a Raider. I really do.
I that's a debate I've had with TQ a lot, just because we like to do that to each other, just say some wild shit. But um, watching him, the growth of him from when he came in to when he retired, I think that journey in itself was something that you could look at someone like a Tyree Wilson coming in, having very similar numbers to Khalil Mack. I think he had a half a sack less than Mack his rookie year, and how he got better as the year went on because he got healthier. He had, I got told literally the Saturday after the draft, or the Saturday day 3 of the draft, that he had to have another surgery on his foot to remove some stuff. So he wasn't healthy most of the year.
Right.
And then when he started to get healthy, you started to see the athletic freak, the disruptive force that he was at Texas Tech. Um, eh, you look at Jack Jones, leaving, immature with the Patriots, comes over, and he's a godsend, and in part because he's going to do whatever he can for AP to make sure that he is respectful and honors AP because of his belief in him, and then when you look at some other players like that, even Merrick's growth as a player, from having a real shitty rookie year to last year, gradual improvement. I don't think the Raiders are far off. I think they really are an elite quarterback away and getting the lines built up. You can add corners, and this is a deep corner class. So if they stay put and they take a lineman at 13, and then in the second round they go get a corner or another D lineman or another, in the third round there's still going to be corners. After that, it's a crapshoot. But I think this draft suits up real well for the Raiders, other than being a team that needs a quarterback, and the guy you want, presumably, being a guy that's going to be picked in the top 2.
I agree with that. Adam Sweeney Gallup is looking for a trade. So yeah, he's seeking a trade, and funny enough, he had just gotten a 5-year deal back in 2022. It was a 5-year, $57 million deal, 23 guaranteed. Total guaranteed is 27. There's an out actually after this season, but it would be a $13 million cap hit. Excuse me, cap hit. I don't know if I would do a 1-for-1 and trade him for Renfro. I don't think I want to take on that guy's contract. So the next couple of years, this season 13.8, the following season 15.8, and the final season on the contract, which is the 2026 season, 15.8. I'm not taking on that money. Absolutely not.
No, and he's been inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's been super inconsistent for Dallas. Um, just Diana Rossini just is reporting the Panthers and Giants have been discussing a trade for Brian Burns for a while. Told at this point it's not complete, but there's hope it can get there. We'll see if it can get finalized.
Wow. You just mentioned it. That's some shit. Guys, if you want to call in, it's on the screen 347-471-0361. We're talking about the free agency frenzy. We're talking about our signings and some of these other signings throughout the league. And again, nothing is official until 4 p.m. this coming Wednesday. I will be live with Joe on his channel Wednesday. We'll talk about that more off the air so we can figure out exactly what time. But yeah. Who's lagging, Isaiah? Excuse me.
Yeah, who's lagging? That's a question. That's a good question. I hate you brought it up. You talked about it earlier. The draft grades and the free agency grades. No one knows. No one knows. That's just clickbait stuff. That's like
Yeah.
that's like guys saying like last week I was at the airport. So it was Wednesday, and I put out a tweet regarding Jaden Daniels. If you recall, there were some aggregators and grifters that were grifting about how they got told or they heard Jaden Daniels and Jay's mom don't want to play in New England and don't want to play back east. Now, I've known Jay a long time. I've known his mom a long time. We're from the same area. Jay never said that. His no one in his camp ever said it. So just I really hope people are careful about what they listen to because that does hurt the player at the end of the day. People, because then you got people turning on him. Well, he don't want to be here, and he gets drafted there, and it's the Donovan McNabb getting booed because they didn't take Ricky Williams.
Yeah.
Jay will play wherever. Jay's a competitor. He wants to compete. Now, would he like to come to the Raiders? I would imagine so. I mean, you're closer to home. You're the head coach is someone that recruited you. You have guys that you played with on the team. I think that's a preference, but he doesn't have the cachet that he's not a part of the first family of football like Eli Manning, where he dictated where he went in the draft. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being honest.
No, you're 1,000% correct on that.
Jay is I'm gonna go where I go and I'm gonna play and we'll see what happens. But it pissed me off, to be honest with you, that you had people that are literally in their own mind reporting this and making graphics and putting it out there that Jaden Daniels, Jay never said it. I hit him about it. I'm like, yo, is this true? He goes, no. You help me? I said, yeah, I'm gonna say it. So
somebody in the chat just says Chicago and the Raiders are in a discussion about Fields.
I don't know about that.
I don't believe that at all.
I haven't got anything regarding that at all. Well, what's this one?
Shout out to Sebastian. Love the Minshew signing. Dude just screams Raiders. He has swagger. He's mobile. Dude can ball. He won in Ajax and in Indy. Beat the Raiders twice. Yep.
We're looking at Titans, Lions, and Bengals for DJ Reader right now.
Shit.
And I'll say this: looking at what the Chargers have done this offseason, so far, I'm not impressed with what they've done.
With who? What team?
The Chargers.
Oh,
I think you're going to start seeing guys get released or traded from there in the next 48 hours.
Guys, don't, because I still don't see Khalil Mack coming back here. I don't. No
I don't either.
disrespect either. I just don't see him coming back here.
No, I think that ship sailed after Gruden traded him, and after he declined the contract that Gruden offered him. That's when that ship sailed.
Yeah. Minshew and AOC will battle for QB2, and we draft a QB1 potentially. Food signing. Take a breath. What? I read what I read, but I don't know how right that was. Okay, I'm back. I know about Minshew. I miss anything else? No. Michael Pittman, again, 3-year deal, $70 million contract extension. Kind of saw that coming after he had gotten the franchise tag. And again, T. Higgins, who was franchise tagged, he requested a trade early this morning. He's due $21.8 million this coming season. Oh, goof signing. Okay.
Oh,
I was like, huh?
take goof like food.
That's why I was like, I got confused for a second. I'm like, what?
Like, is a food signing? Like, who they sign? What food? I need to eat it. Damn.
Now it's like they're showing like the little headlines on their ticker right now, and they have Wilkins up there. Diana Rossini reported the Chicago's and Raiders discussion. Oh Jesus. Raider Ryan, salute Joe. You and Hammer gel together very well for the show. Both very knowledgeable. Enjoy the different takes on occasion. Appreciate you, Raider Ryan. Thank you so much.
Let me see if let me see. Let me text her.
Uh-oh. Raiders are waiting to see draft and draft best available. Right tackle or corner defensive tackle. Let's effing go. Raider Nation for life. Salute to you, Carlos, in the chat. What if we just kept Renfro and restructure his deal? He's in a new system this year and may go back to being utilized more. I feel like these last 2 years have just... I know he wasn't being utilized the way he was before. I just don't know if I would want to keep him, especially if he's willing to restructure, then maybe. But I don't know.
I'm gonna text somebody to see if I can get some clarity on this Fields Raiders thing.
All right, Chargers just got tight end Will Dissly. Can't wait till the draft to see who we get. Your thoughts, Hammer? I'm still hoping for a quarterback. I'm still hoping for another defensive tackle. And then we build the offensive line, maybe get a corner as well. I'm probably looking late in the draft at a linebacker. Yeah, Zon. Yeah. Yep. A lot of ends, man. What are your thoughts on Aaron Jones? You can give me Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon right now as our running back. Since for those that are coming in late, for those that haven't seen it, Josh Jacobs has gone to the Green Bay Packers, 4-year, $48 million contract.
All right, I'm waiting on a response, so you know.
Let's see if I'm missing anybody else in the chat. I don't think I am. Guys, the vault line is still open. If you guys want to call on in, sound off on today's topics. We've already been on for over an hour and a half. And for those that haven't already, break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell. Did the Raiders call the Bears about the first overall pick? I haven't heard anything about that yet. If we don't move up for QB, I would go for Fashanu or Mitchell. Okay. I like that. I still would like to go for a quarterback right now, though. Like, no disrespect to Minshew. Again, he has beat us twice. And O'Connell's O'Connell. And again, it's not a knock. It's not an insult. Like, he did his thing last season. Definitely was put out there way before he should have. But look, the change of the guard, they're like, nah, that's our starter. Like, Garoppolo was leading the league in interceptions, if I remember correctly, at that time. So, he held his own, but other times it was just kind of scary to watch. But again, it's no disrespect to him. I do think that realistically, he is a backup. Chargers are signing Gus Edwards.
Whatever. So this is what I just got. I asked him what was sent back was not that we're overly interested, but we would be doing our due diligence now with the market dropping for him to kick tires once again to see what the asking price may be.
There you go.
It's doing due diligence. There you guys
have it. Shout out to William Edwin, or Ewin, my fault. Thanks, Hammer. Do you think we pick up a corner in free agency? I've been talking about it, and I wouldn't mind us taking Kendall Fuller right now because he's probably going to be the cheapest one we can get. I could see him beating out Minshew. Pause. If we can't get up and get Jaden Daniels, I think we get in top 8 for McCarthy, and that's kind of where I'm at with that as well. I wouldn't mind that at all. I would not mind that at all. We talked about it. Jesus Christ, I just lost my train of thought. Like we just talked about this last week pertaining to JJ McCarthy. He's kind of more ready than some of these other quarterbacks that are coming into the league just because of who he learned under, and he's a guy that loves to compete. I would not mind having JJ McCarthy as our next quarterback if we're not able to get Jaden Daniels.
I like the bottom line is you got to look at what's available to you, and right now, Caleb Williams is going number 1. So unless you're paying the King's ransom to get to 1, it's not going to happen. He's not going to slide. Jay is going to go number 2 to Washington, and then number 3. That's where I think it gets tricky because I do think the Patriots take a quarterback, but are they going to take JJ McCarthy or are they going to take Drake May? I think it comes down to those 2 guys.
And again, nobody's talking about May very much. Nobody has been talking about May very much. That's why it's like it kind of blows my mind to still see him in the top 3 as draft prospect at the quarterback position because I have not heard a single thing about him. Hammer, would you take a flyer on Noah Fant? Fant was the tight end from Denver, right?
Denver and Seattle. I would in a heartbeat.
We need one because we don't really only have Michael Mayer. I wouldn't mind it, but depends on how much. Like I saw one of these tight ends just got signed. It was like a 3-year, $12 million deal, like something like that. Yeah, why the hell not?
What was it? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? He was the backup to Mayer last year.
Hooper.
I'll bring him back.
A lot of people are like, nah, he's washed. Da, 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 da. I'm like, can never satisfy the masses.
No, but I mean, what you have is a guy that has a size matchup that can make some plays, and he's not coming in to be the number 1 guy like he was in Atlanta or Cleveland when Cleveland signed him. He's coming in to be a guy that can make plays for you and be if your 1 is Devontae, 2 will be Myers, 3 Mayer. Okay, he's your 4th option if you need go when you have him in the game. I mean,
let's put this to a poll because people are already talking about it in the chat.
I love it. I love everybody.
Oops, wrong one. You guys are really engaging today. I really am enjoying all of this.
Yeah, you're right, Richard. Seattle too. That's true. He was in Seattle. I forgot about that. Oh no, Fant was in Seattle.
There, it's up in the chat now. See what you guys think about that one. I'd bring back Hooper on a good cheap deal. Yeah. Do you think in moving back to get more draft capital and best available is a good decision for the Raiders? I think we need to find a way to get one of these quarterbacks. Like I said, Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy, I'm here for it. Even I still have Bo Nix as a quarterback that I would like to have here. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
So they're saying apparently that the Ravens are potentially targeting Austin Eckler right now.
Look, that opens the door for Derrick Henry to come to the Raiders.
I'm here for it.
I somehow think Aaron Jones ends up in Houston and Derrick Henry ends up here in Las Vegas.
Shit. What's crazy is I had Henry, and this is a while back, I had Henry landing in Baltimore. And
everybody did.
If it happens, it happens. But it looks like the Giants are going to get Burns. Is this deal? How close are they to making that deal happen? I'm telling you right now. Shit. We'll get back to that. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, man, Raider Rudy from College Station, Texas.
What's up, bro?
How's it going, guys?
What's going on?
What up, Rudy?
Oh, yeah, man. I just wanted to kind of say, did you see that? I think you put on Twitter. Jack Jones said that he wanted to Jones from the Packers to come to us.
Yeah, I saw that before. He had tweeted that out. Look, if we can get him, and depending on what the market value for him is right now, like we saw 2 of these running backs, deals weren't too bad. Deals were more or less like a mid-level contract for them in regards to like a 3-year, $24 million, 3-year, $24.5 million deal. Like we get something like that for him, then cool, I'll do it.
Yeah, you think Henry would take like a vet minimum?
No,
A vet minimum? Absolutely not.
no,
No.
he's not Russell
Dang, that would be
Wilson
crazy,
in
though,
38 million.
Yeah, for sure. No, but did you think like just like trying to tackle Zamir White or Derrick Henry? That would be crazy. Like I think that if that's what AP is trying to do is like run the ball. I mean, I could only imagine that would wear defenses down and just give us like a little push. You know, if say the quarterback that we really want, which is Jaden, isn't there, or we can move up for him. I guess you know what I mean.
That's why
Get
I'm
a little
saying.
pressure off the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying with the running backs. If we can get like Quadzilla, then AP would have a field day.
Sure, yeah.
He would have a field day with that 2-headed monster.
What if it was
Yeah, no.
you sign Derrick Henry and AJ Dillon, and then you actually at the goal line you do run that zone read with Derrick Henry?
Jesus.
How do you stop that?
You don't.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Oh, my
You just
God.
don't. Yeah. And that's the thing, like it's our red zone all the time, guys. So it's like, you know, the red zone is when we can't, like when we're there, it's just so hard for us to score. So I hate seeing Carlson as much as I like him and he's clutch for us.
Right.
I'm always thinking to myself, man, here we go again. Like we're not going to score when it's like second or third down. I'm like, man, we're not going to make it in the end zone. And sometimes we make it, of course, sometimes we don't. But yeah, man, I'm excited. The whole Wilkins signing, and you know, Minshew didn't even throw me off at all just because I was so excited about Wilkins. But man, it's just looking good for us. I really do trust the office. I trust AP. I feel like because he was a Raider fan, grew up and Compton and all that, you know, like, I mean, it'd be like one of us being up in as a head coach.
Right.
Like, I mean,
I'm curious. I want to ask you a question. This goes out to everybody in the chat as well. So yesterday,
Yes, sir.
when we all put out, myself and everybody else put out the Andre James signing, there was a lot of pushback from people because, oh, why are they signing him? Here we go, blah 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 blah. But if it wasn't Telesco as the GM, and obviously him and AP have talked about what they want, why is there a backlash if everybody trusts AP and what AP wants? Evidently, AP wanted James to return, right?
That too. And then a lot of people are thinking too, right? They're like, oh, like here we go again. The Raiders are doing what Raiders do. We're just bringing. Well, what do you want, a rebuild, or do you want to bring our guys back? Right? It was just what Telesco said. Like we're gonna start bringing players back to let it be known when you're a Raider, we want to keep you a Raider. If of course you do good, right? If you're a bust, then obviously you can get cut within the rookie contract or whatever. But I was okay with that one too. And then he's already there. You know, he knows all the players. Like they're already in sync. We could upgrade, of course, like the right side, like we said. You know, but yeah, I mean, I was okay with it. Nothing has bothered me yet. I mean, I guess I have a positive mindset. Obviously, keeping like, it's always like because we're just used to this hype, right? Like when we got Adams, we're like, oh, this is our year, and then it's like, boom. And then it's like, even when Gruden was with us and, you know, all these coaches that we have in the past, like, we haven't had a season where we're like, this is our year, and then it is our year. You know what I mean? So
That was the thing.
The fans are kind of like,
the thing with Gruden, and I spoke on this a couple of times in the past, like, and look, you guys know when I sit here and I do a live, like, I'm not here to sit here and talk politics. There's one thing I hate to talk about more than anything else.
oh, same.
But as it pertained to Gruden coming back as our head coach, our country has gotten so soft and so PC that the old Gruden, that was out the window. Because all these young kids now, this next generation, and yeah, you can tell me I'll do the get off my lawn bit, but like this next generation of kids, they want to be coddled. You can't tell them shit like, and that's not gonna fly, especially when you're playing in the league. If you're playing a competitive sport in general, like if you're fucking up, you're gonna get called out on it. But nowadays,
for sure,
this next generation can't take that type of shit. So the old John Gruden, the old school Chucky, that was not gonna fly in the league. And you know, emails caught up to him, and he was gone. So,
dude, should I go ahead and say the one story?
Go ahead.
That I told you. So this is anybody that was around then that covered them knows this, and it's true. When when they hired John, I had got a text from a very high up the food chain person that was like, "We got our guy." And I think within halfway through the year, I is he still your guy? And the person just kind of was like, and it was the best way to describe it was he's a caricature of himself. He wasn't John Gruden. He was just Chucky making the faces on the sideline and it's better to wide banana,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Embracing his fame.
so
Yeah.
but part of that is because the player that he had to coach, the one that he stuck his claim to, the one that he saved from being traded multiple times, couldn't handle being talked to a certain way in quarterback meetings and couldn't handle being held accountable for his insufficiencies in the offense. So he had to change the way he coached, which is he
Yeah.
became more softer, and there was more of a fatherly type vibe to him. So I think part of that. I mean, yeah, the emails come with them, and Daniel Snyder. You know, he was a victim of Daniel Snyder in his scandal, and I think
Yeah.
that he's going to get vindicated for that. And John's a phenomenal person. Like honestly, like I can't thank him enough for some of the things that taught me and showed me things and things that he's told me that I'll take to my grave. But I think he became a caricature of himself, and you've seen the real person come out when McDaniels treated and he is a lot of things, but the one thing is he's consistent with how he treats people. He treats everybody like assholes. He don't care if you're Devontae Adams. He don't care if you're Caleb Plant Jr. He'll treat you all like an asshole. Or Adam Plant Jr. Excuse me. At the end of the day, somebody couldn't handle being coached that way. Someone couldn't handle being held accountable. So if anything, I think with that, he did the Raiders a favor. And that's just my opinion about the difference between Gruden and where he was and to where the Raiders are now and what happened in between.
Yeah, I think the second time around, right, he almost embraced the fame, and everybody's like, Chucky's back, and like I totally, would see how that could happen. Like the second time, I mean, the first time I was a little younger of a fan, so I was like, oh, cool, like this is a coach, and it wasn't like a big deal, right? But the second time was more like the hype thing, right? And he embraced it, of course. Like, he likes to be in the black hole, shaking people's hands, whatever, which is cool. But it's like, yeah, like, pretty much what Hammer said, like that style of coaching is not flying these days because everything's soft. Like everything is soft. Even the way you suck a quarterback now is soft.
This is why I won't go back. This is why I will not go back to coaching high school football. Like, because everybody's so soft now. I can't do that. Like, if shit that I went through playing high school, like the coaches that I had one coach, our strength and conditioning coach was a Marine. And that dude, I'm telling y'all, if this next generation had him as a coach, they'd piss their pants. I'm not making any bones about that. Like, you would probably piss your pants. Like, that dude was real and intense as it gets. Shout out to Coach Brown. Love you. But, yeah, that dude was intense as hell. One time, so you guys saw what happened to DeMar Hamlin last year, right? He came into the locker room. He came into the locker room before a game, and he always gets his revved up. He came in, he's going, and he all of a sudden, I'm like right there. I'm in the middle. He hits me in the dead center of my chest. I swore I thought my heart was gonna stop. The way the way he hit me, I was like, it's like shit. Like that dude was a dog. I miss that guy.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I mean, I even remember back, I'm originally from California. I'm in Texas now, but, my coach in Pop Warner grabbed my helmet and was like shaking it and just screaming at me so loud. I can feel the spit on my face, and I can feel like his, like,
grabbing you by the face mask.
Like, so like, yeah,
That was normal.
Can't do that no more. Cannot do that no more.
Sure you can't. So
I was coaching high school football out here, and I'm not gonna say what year it was. but it was within the last 7 years. And we went to a camp at a college in Vegas, or in Nevada. You can go to a college camp and you can get a full pads in June. So you kind of get things going. So you bring your young kids up or whatever, you bring your freshmen up to see what they could do. And we had our varsity team up there, and the D coordinator at the time, our linebacker, kept just making the same mistake over and over again, and it was costing us in some of these. You go full 11-on-11, you get 20 offensive plays, 3 teams each get 20, so you get your 20 D plays, and you just rotate. Then you go 7. I said, well, anyway, in we're full pad. The kid kept making the same mistake, and after the game, he walked up to him, the D coordinator, and he punched his face mask. Bow! The kid's eyes got so big, and for me, I was laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I've seen that plenty of times," but and I was like, I had to stop him and say, "Look, man, like you can't do that to these kids. They're not built like that." So it is a different generation. How many times we get hit in the head and we've seen stars and we just got the snot knocked out of us, or we got our bell rung, it was okay. No, we're concussed. So I mean, it is what it is, but there is a difference, and everybody has to change. It's just it's just what it is. But Gruden did change, and I think there's certain people that's in the league still that are thankful, that should be thanking their lucky stars that he did, because if not, they wouldn't be in the league right now.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd have a whole different team too if he was still running getting caught with the emails too.
Yep.
So, because he had a 10-year contract, right?
Yeah, 10-year, $100 million contract.
Still getting paid.
So I mean, for sure. I mean,
No, he
I
is.
guess McDaniels is too. Yeah.
$20 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Rudy, definitely appreciate the call, bro. We're gonna take a few more.
Oh yes, sir.
Take care, bro.
Man.
How you too, bro?
Go Raiders.
Damn, that was quick. Raider Nation News today. What's your name? Where you calling from?
D's, Idaho.
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Hammer?
Not much. Sound off. Floor is yours.
All right, cool. Super stoked on the Christian Wilkins pickup, man. I think that dude in the middle, obviously with what everybody else has been saying, the obvious, Crosby, Wilkins, Tyree Wilson, and Kuntz on that front line. It's going to be tough to run for one against the Raiders. It's going to be tough to pass against the Raiders with the amount of pressure we should get on opposing quarterbacks. So that single move should bump us up the list of top defenses, I believe, right away. It's going to lighten up the cornerback. It's going to lighten up the linebackers to flow a little more freely. It's going to close up the middle of that defense to help. So super stoked on that free agent acquisition. Gardner Minshew.
Uh-oh.
Uncle Rico. In terms of Uncle Rico, I've seen flashes of this man do great things. I've seen him make stupid plays. I believe that based on the money they're paying him, he's there to not only help mature Aiden, but also to be a backup. I don't see this being our last move or by any means a starter position for Minshew. So I'm okay with it. To be honest, he was better than the other 2 backups we had behind AOC last year. So I think he's going to do better than Jimmy G, and definitely think he's better than Brian Hoyer. So there's a little positivity there. In terms of any additional free agents, how much room do we have left on the cap after these 2 signings?
I haven't even looked at that yet, actually. And honestly, I don't even think Spot Track will have any update on this. Not yet, anyways.
Not till they're official.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at Spot Track right now. The adjusted salary cap is 266.9. Active contracts right now are 216. Dead cap is 17. Total is 226 with the estimated cap for all at 33. The estimated cap space for the top 51 is at 40 mil. I don't think that's correct right now.
Yeah. I would say if we can still find something decent on the right-hand side of the offensive line, whether that's right tackle or right guard, that would be a great thing to look at.
Right.
That way we have to depend on a first-year rookie coming out of college to basically hold up defensive, ends and tackles against whatever quarterback we have back there. So I think that'd be a good move in free agency. When it comes to the draft, I'm super excited about Atlanta picking up Kirk Cousins. That opens up spot 8 to possibly move up to get a quarterback if we need to. Honestly, I think 5 being held by Giants. And, God, who else was I looking at?
Oh, they got 6.
Tennessee.
They got 6, and I think Tennessee is up there in the top 10 as well.
And Sandy or
Okay.
LA is at 5. I think that's
They're
going to be Joel.
going for a running back or a lineman or a receiver.
So I think 4 might be an option if Arizona's willing to deal, but I don't know. We probably already touched and gave them a phone call. I think the Giants could be, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking for a replacement quarterback, so they may take somebody.
Yeah.
It's going to take some wheeling and dealing to get up there to get a quarterback of the future. I still wouldn't hold out on the fact that you might still see Fields, as much as I hate to say it. I don't think this Gardner Minshew thing squashes that deal for the Raiders. It's still a possibility, but yeah, kind of some excitement, but maybe some bated breath in terms of what's coming up in the next, I would say, couple days, as well as how we look in that very first round. That first day of draft is going to tell us everything about what we need to know for, I think, the upcoming season.
Wholeheartedly agree with that. And again, like for those that are just coming in, we've talked about a whole bunch of these free agency signings, but they're not official until 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. So things can change. People can back out of these deals. Anything is
True.
possible until ink is put to paper. So we'll see. But John, definitely appreciate the call as always, brother.
Always a pleasure. You guys have a great afternoon, man. I look forward to watching one of the Shieldmore shows later today.
Take care, bro.
You too, man.
All right.
Shout out to Hugdies, one of the most loyal members of the channel. Much love to you, bro. Illuminor is officially right guard. Where did that come from? I know we've talked about Illuminor countless times here, especially before the start of free agency, and a couple of things that he was putting out there on Twitter about the Bengals of all teams. But I haven't seen anything or heard anything about him.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any type of email, text, even a phone call where I'll just tell him to text me. So I don't know anything about that off the top.
Yeah, somebody just said Illuminor hasn't even signed. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Bully ball, AP is pissed off.
he should be. He should be. I'm glad he is. Like he's look. I was talking to somebody on my flight back. I always get the same flight attendants, right? And I have this guy, the male flight attendant is super cool. He's a Raider fan, right? He recognized me, and so when he seen me yesterday, he was like, "Oh, you're flying back today?" I said, "Yeah, whatever." And he's like, "So what do you think about tomorrow?" And we were talking, and I was, and I was thinking about it at the airport, which was, you look at the Raiders in general, their history of head coaches, right? Like no one expected Al Davis to do what he did when he took the Raiders over. No one expected John Madden to do what he did, or Tom Flores, or Art Shell, or Gruden for that matter. Gruden was a risk. It seems like the ones that are the biggest risks are the ones that pan out the most for the Raiders. Yeah, you have your outliers like Lane Kiffin and you know a couple others, but for the most part, AP is he's built like a Raider mentally. He's wired like a Raider.
Yeah.
So I think that's separates him from the guys that failed. So I have the utmost confidence that he's gonna turn it around and get the guys that he wants. Period. Point blank. And have these guys believing in his vision and his message.
I definitely agree with that. Like, and that was the one thing I told people. Like, he's shown it. And this was even when he was in the league. Like, he is a leader among men. And the way that these guys just drew to him right away when he became interim head coach and took over, and what this team did, like, it speaks volumes. And he absolutely deserved this opportunity. And this is why, like, when we talked about, I think we did the show on Friday when I talked about Russell Wilson, I was saying it's kind of still the same thing now with him going to Pittsburgh. for Mike Tomlin, who's in the final year of his contract, which has never happened with him, this was a power move. You're still going to see a quarterback competition, but ultimately, if Russell Wilson becomes the starter for the Steelers, that team could go places. I felt that it would have been a good fit for us to have somebody like Wilson on that league vet minimum for the same exact thing. The only difference is Antonio Pierce is in his first year as a head coach in the league. That would have been a power move. We see what he did earlier today with Wilkins, but like having a quarterback like Russell Wilson would have been a power move to like pretty much get the eyes of everybody else to be like, yo, we're not fucking around. So I think right now with him and Telesco, I think that they are going to be making some. You're going to hear about more moves being made within the next 48 hours and stuff that you're going to be like, you're on board with, or maybe it's a bit of a head scratcher, but maybe if I'm sitting here doing a live talking to you guys, I can talk you off the cliff one way, shape, or form. But we still have another 40 plus days until the draft. So, like, let's get through this free agency period and then start thinking about the draft and see what other holes it is that we need to fill moving forward. But ultimately, still, we got to get a quarterback of the future. Like Minshew, 2 years, that's a cool story, bro. But we need a quarterback that's going to be the face of the franchise for years to come.
Don't disagree with that. Agree with that 100%. And, it could be. I mean, you never know. Look at the last couple of years, the weird stories that came out at the draft. I mean, in 2020, Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden wants to be traded.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, year after that. You never know who all of a sudden is going to get a bug up their ass to say, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like the direction of the team. I'm going to push back on the Justin Fields is potentially still an option um, only because I think like I said, got told that, read it on air that they're kicking tires. I don't think that the market value. I see someone in the chat too say they sign Minshew to drive down the price or the market value
Justin
for.
Fields.
Guys don't do that. They don't do that. That's not how it works. It's more of this deal is better for us right now, and maybe they know something about next year's free agent crop of quarterbacks.
Oh, free agency. I'm thinking. I
Yeah.
thought the
No.
draft for some reason. Like I really don't think that next year's draft class is gonna really bring anybody out in quarterbacks. That's really gonna get anybody's attention.
You're a boy ears, and that's it.
Yours, I'm not. Another one that kind of is just like injury prone. I don't know if I want to. I wouldn't take a flyer on him at this point in time.
Come on, just do it.
Joe.
Do it.
Nah, I'm not doing it for yours. Like I'm telling you, I'm so excited to see Arch Manning take over, and I know that yours went back for this coming season because of the injury, and I think he believed that his draft stock had dropped tremendously, and it kind of sucks because now we got to probably wait a whole nother year before we see Arch Manning, and it's like I'm just it kind of hurts right now because I'm really curious to see what the kid is capable of doing at Texas. So we'll see.
Well, I think if the Raiders stay put right now, I think the move for them. Oh yeah, Shador Sanders too. That's another one. But I'm not sold on Shador either. If I'm being honest.
We give him one more year in college and see what he can do.
Well, next year's his senior year.
Yeah, so see what he can do next year.
From what I've seen,
not sold.
Nah, not right now. I mean, I'm a huge Deion fan. I love what he did at Jackson State. I love but I'm not a fan of daddy ball. When I was coaching high school, when I was, my son played defense, I was a D coordinator. He played a position that's what I coached. I didn't coach that position because I didn't want to coach my son. Like if I'll tell a coach to tell him something versus me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have that on him. And I think there's a lot of that, people, I've had people tell me, NFL evaluators say this guy coached him in high school. Deion coached him in high school. took him to college with him, and then left and brought him to college, and is everywhere. You're the starter. You're the starter, and that doesn't sit well with some evaluators. And these are guys, not old white guys either. These are guys that are men of color that expect that want him to be successful, but they don't feel that they don't feel that he's just it's just not there. That sometimes when you come from privilege and you don't have to struggle, that when you get in tough situations, you don't know how to react or adverse situations. And I think that's kind of going to be a knock on him until he starts to show that he can get out of adverse situations. Um, whether it's fair or not, that's just kind of the stuff that's been said to me. But you're right about Arch Manning, but I'm interested to see what he's got, because where he went to school in Louisiana, and yeah, it's a private school, and Odell went there, a lot of other NFL players went there. From my understanding, there's some people that don't think that he's really like that. That is that Manning name that's got him there.
Shit. Well,
I'm just telling you.
No, you know what? It's cool because look, the Manning name is what got Daniel Jones drafted 7th overall out of Duke, because he went to Eli's passing camp. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a quarterback out of Duke drafted in the first round, especially not that high ever again.
Well, they may have their guard drafted in the first round this year.
That's different. It's not a quarterback.
True.
Well, I also make my position clear. I want nothing to do with Fields, but that's why I'm on the couch not making decisions. Yeah, salute to John. Salute to Islander 41s. Thank you for becoming a new subscriber. We still have over 200 in the chat. If you guys haven't already, I don't know what y'all are doing at this point. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell. Jose Cabrera said what we should have done was draft CJ Stroud last year. Well, we know who fucked that one up for us. And they're not here anymore. It is what it is. But guys, we have hit 2 hours, and it's been a very, very, very long time that I've done a 2-hour live, and doing live watch parties does not count. So I wanna say thank you to all you guys. Appreciate y'all. I'm definitely gonna try to rest. Like, it's 6 o'clock now on the East Coast. Crazy enough, the sun is actually still out. Thank you, daylight savings time. But I'm gonna rest. Again, there's gonna probably be a lot more news to break tomorrow. If anything, we might be back on the same exact time, like 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. If all goes right, we could do another one of these. And if there's more news that breaks, we'll be sure to throw it out there. If I got to do another video off my phone and upload it as breaking news, I'll do that as well. That has seemed to work the last couple of days. But for those that are just coming in, if you haven't heard yet, yes, the Raiders have signed Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million contract, $84.725 million guaranteed. And we also signed Uncle Rico, yes, that Uncle Rico, Gardner Minshew, a 2-year, $25 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. Still a lot to think about. Still a lot of moves to be made. And again, if anything breaks, be sure to drop it on any of the social media platforms. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Joe, again, let them know where they can find you.
At Joe Arrigo FSM or at the Franchise LV. And please go become a member of the Franchise YouTube page. Just type in your Google bar or your YouTube bar. Franchise Sports Media will pop up. It's the F with the circle around it with the Luxor in between. Subscribe or be a member, whatever you want to call it, so you can come fuck with your boy and see what we got going on daily starting this Wednesday.
And you guys see it. I just put it back up in the chat again, so make sure to subscribe on your way out if you guys haven't already. Break them thumbs, hammer that sub, smash the bell to stay up to date with all your Raiders news, rumors, updates, live streams, and reactions in the house at Hammer, built by the nation for the nation. Raider Nation News Today. Continue to stay safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. COVID is back and on the rise. Remember to wash your hands and your asses. And as always, win, lose, or tie, Raider Nation till I die. Till next time, y'all. And of course, as always on my New York, peace, love, and positivity. Outro. See you guys tomorrow.